Hi, this is Michael Ian Black, author and narrator of the audiobook, A Child's First Book of Trump. Now, many people have asked me, Michael Ian Black, author, is A Child's First Book of Trump really meant for children? And I respond to them thusly. Friend, it is entitled A Child's First Book of Trump, and I believe, as a parent myself, it is certainly appropriate for you to read this to your child who may have no idea what a Trump is. There is one mild naughty word. Let's call it a PG-13 word, and that word is crap. If your child's delicate ears can deal with the word crap, I would say it's perfectly acceptable to read this book to them. On the other hand, it's certainly appropriate to read it to adults. The Americus Trumpus is a specifically American creature. We don't exactly know its origins. We think the species originated somewhere in Europe hundreds of years ago, but it made its way across the Atlantic to the United States, where it settled in the Northeast, and that is where its native grounds are. And of course, the Northeast is a very crowded area of the country, so in order for it to survive, it needs to be very loud, and it needs to make a lot of noise, and it's always flexing its elbows to get other competing creatures out of its way. Its diet, as the book says, is cash. It eats it voraciously. Although some people think that the Americus Trumpus doesn't eat quite as much cash as it claims. Some people think its diet is actually much leaner. I'm hoping there's no need for a sequel to A Child's First Book of Trump. I'm hoping that the Americus Trumpus goes into deep hibernation in the fall, say around November. But if there were to be a sequel, I don't think it could be called A Child's Second Book of Trump, because the Trump never does anything second. It would have to be called A Trumpus Among Us or something like that. What do I hope listeners take away from the audiobook? Well, first and foremost, of course, a good chuckle. Secondly, I hope listeners of every political persuasion recognize the fun that I'm having and the kernel of truth that is buried somewhere. It is not meant to be a hateful book in any way, shape, or form. It's meant instead to be, let's call it, a celebration of the American political process. That's a very diplomatic way of saying what it is.